Do you ever feel like after you have a team meeting, things change for maybe a day or two, and then it's right back to the same old thing? Yeah, I can relate. We used to hold a team meeting every single month, and we'd go over basic housekeeping things, upcoming promos or contests, and talk about whatever needed to change, maybe a little encouragement or motivation sprinkled in as well. And I used to get so frustrated because I felt like no one was taking me seriously. Everyone would nod, agree, smile, and then go right back to doing the things the same exact way. There was zero accountability. And I'd spend hours planning those meetings, setting the agenda, getting snacks and breakfast for everyone, making it fun, and it just never landed. Nothing seemed to stick until I made one small shift. I stopped holding team meetings altogether. I actually hate team meetings. And instead, I started doing monthly one-on-ones. And I'm not kidding you. It completely changed the game for my team's accountability, communication, and overall culture. This was one of the best leadership shifts I ever made. All right, so let's talk about the before. I felt like everyone hated coming to team meetings. It's probably because they did. I felt like it was this giant burden to everyone, and they'd have to get up, come to the salon, even if they weren't working that day, which I hated because I wanted them to enjoy their time off, but we required everyone to be there. They were mandatory. And honestly, half of them looked like they just rolled out of bed because we do them early, like 8 a.m. So they did just roll out of bed. Sorry, but it's true. And it drove me crazy. I hated it. Some months it would turn into a total bitch fest. Everyone pointing fingers about who didn't fold towels, who didn't clean their bowls, who left the back bar a mess. And I'll admit, it was negative and it was draining me. And even when I tried to make the meetings positive and encouraging, bringing all the good energy, the excitement, the motivation, things might shift for a day or two. And then boom, right back to the same old habits. No accountability, no follow through. And that's when I realized my team didn't want or need team meetings. They didn't need them. Okay. They needed something else. And then neither did I. I didn't want it anymore. They were no longer effective. They were no longer working. So I had to make a change. So what was the one change that we started implementing? Monthly one-on-ones. You guys have heard me talk about this before. This isn't anything like earth-shattering news, but it's truly what changed the game for us. And I'm going to talk about the why behind it, the psychology behind it, how we do what we do, and just I want to hit home on this. And that's why I've been talking about this so much on the podcast, and just our platform is because I truly believe it. One-on-ones change everything. And they'll do the same for your team and your culture if you truly implement. All right. So 45 minutes to 1 hour is what each stylist gets every single month. So that's how much time that we carve out, anywhere from 45 minutes to a meeting to 1 hour. We focus on their own personal goals, progress, and growth. It's not about bitching. It's not about who did this. Like, if it goes down that alley, and some will, you'll have to redirect conversations. Hey, we carve out this time for you and your growth. Do you want to focus on your growth right now, or do you want to talk about this? And I always say, like, please utilize that time to focus on your goals and where you're at and your progress and trackers and maybe challenges that you're facing right now so we can work through those things. But we really focus each individual meeting on their own personal goals. We schedule them a year in advance so there's no surprises. Done with them saying, I didn't know about this, because that's not true. Bullshit. You did know about this. It's been on your agenda for an entire year now. We include an action plan from every single meeting. So it's a follow-up accountability, which we'll get more into that in just a second. Okay. I don't believe in surprise accountability. My team knows exactly when their one-on-one is because they're actually the ones scheduling it, not me. I schedule out the time and the date, not the times. I'm sorry. I schedule out the dates. They schedule their own individual time. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how I do this here in a little bit. It's on their calendar for an entire year. So 2026 already done. Accountability shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like a partnership. That's planning an organization at its finest when it's a whole year ahead of time. all the one-on-ones are nailed down and they know all the events inside the salon, but really the one-on-ones are there for their personal growth. Okay. We have not done team meetings since maybe 2019. It was either 2019 or 2020. I want to say it was 19 when we stopped. So well over 5 years. I don't regret it. It was, like I said, one of the best decisions we ever made. And it truly changed my team's trajectory. It truly changed how I coach and mentor. It changed a lot of things. So you might give it a shot. Accountability doesn't work without consistency. Clarity without follow up is just a wish list. I love that quote. All right, so let's talk about the after story. My team started coming prepared for their one-on-ones with their trackers completely filled out. We have trackers inside of my company and inside of LG Education that it's data, it's KPIs, it's what we track every single month. I don't fill this out, they fill this out. It is for their growth. I'm not going to spend the time to do it. I'll cross-reference check if we need to, but it is for them to fill out. I no longer had to chase people down for meetings, for one-on-ones. They either signed up for a time or they didn't. And if they choose not to, that's on them. But I definitely, I'll say, put that fear of missing out, because the ones that, this is so true, the ones that never met with me were not growing. The ones that don't meet with me are not growing. It's snail's pace compared to the ones that meet every single month and put into action. They are 10 timesing, like lapping, triple lapping the ones that are never meeting, because they're just not growth focused. They're not growth oriented. It's just not a priority to them. And that tells me too that they might not be a good fit for your culture. And that's a story for another day. We've talked about that a lot as well. So, anyways, I didn't have to chase people down. They either signed up for a time or they didn't. They began holding themselves accountable. And that was the big one too. It's like they held themselves to a different standard because they knew these meetings were coming. They wanted to talk about their challenges. They wanted to talk about their wins. They wanted to say, yes, I did this, this, and this on my action plan. So it really shifted their own accountability and how they held themselves accountable. The energy of the salon shifted from reactive to proactive. It really changed things to where everyone was striving for bigger numbers and bigger goals and really focused on their own personal goals. All right. Once my team realized that I was paying attention, because I was, and that I actually cared about their growth, accountability skyrocketed. It became empowering and created this shift in everyone's energy and momentum. It was wild. And I was paying attention and I did care, and I do care about my team's growth. It's interesting because every year we have them write down their goals: personal, professional, fitness, savings, like whatever they want for the upcoming year. They send them to me and I actually print them off and put them in a binder, but I also take a screenshot when they send it to me. I save it to my phone in a camera roll, and then I create a binder and I'll put like 2026 salon lace goals or 2025 salon lace goals. And I actually put it in an album. And that album, so I can pull it up wherever I'm at, as long as I have my phone, like I have everyone's goals right there on me. And so when I'm coaching, I can just pull it up on my phone. Or I'm old school, so I do print them off and put them in a binder. And so I could come back and say, okay, this is what you said, this, and this. Sometimes our goals change mid-year, and that's fine. But it shows that I take that seriously. I want to know their goals. I want to help them reach their goals, and that I am paying attention. All right. I say if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Accountability lives in documentation. So good. All right, so let's make it actionable. First thing is we want to create a repeatable format. The same structure for every single one-on-one meeting. Talk about the wins. What went great this last month? What didn't? What challenges are you having? Come back to their personal goals, this, and this, and then follow up with an action plan. Okay. So we review the previous action plan. Did you do A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3? This is what you said you wanted to work on. Did you do these things? Okay. We talk about the wins. What went really, really well? We talk about the challenges. What are you struggling in right now? Let's look at the data. Let's look at your tracker. What's dipping? What are you sucking at? Social struggle. Okay. Then we talk about their goals. Are we getting close to hitting this? You said you wanted to do this year. And then we follow up with an action plan for the next month. So that is a format that we follow. Okay. Always end with 2 questions. Okay. These are the 2 questions that I would love for you to ask your team members, your stylist, every single one-on-one. I ask these on every single one-on-one. You ask any of my team members, and they would say, yeah, Lacey said, what are the 3 things that you want to focus on between now and your next one-on-one? Every team member got asked this, every one-on-one. What are the 3 things that you want to focus on between now and our next one-on-one? And then I would write down what they tell me. So you're giving them the opportunity. What are the 3 things that you want to focus on? Maybe they say, I want to stick to a more consistent social media schedule. I want to sell X amount in retail. I want to get 2 new extension guests. I don't care what it was, but something to work towards their goals. And then the last thing I always ask is, how can I better support you in your role or in reaching your goals? Or you can say something along the lines of, is there anything I can do differently as a leader to help you win? Because that's giving me feedback. If you've worked in a salon before, how would that feel if your owner asked you that question? If they truly wanted your feedback and they cared about it? Because I care about my people's feedback. And I always ask, like, what can I do better as a leader? How can I better support you? I ask this every single one-on-one. Some give me feedback, some didn't. A lot of times it was the same, and they're like, nope, I'm good. Everything's great. Or they'd be like, you know what? That bowl on the far right side over there, it's leaking. Like, can we do something about it? Can we get it looked at? Absolutely. Put it on my to-do list this week. Let's get it done. Okay. Imagine if you had a leader or someone in your life that really, truly cared and wanted your feedback. What would have changed in you working for this person? Or this leader, if you're able to give feedback, you want to create that openness, that open communication, and that transparency. So important, you guys. Okay, then we're going to put it on paper. Make sure you write down what you talked about and give it to them in their action plan. These are the 3 things that they said they wanted to focus on. So this is our documentation. We're going to write it down on the action plan and give it to them. And then we're going to schedule all of the one-on-ones out. So don't just think about it. Plan out your 2026 one-on-ones today. So at the time of this recording, it is November of 2025. November 2025. We need to have all of our 2026 goals planned out. And if you're listening to this at a later time, it's not too late. Your homework today is to schedule out a year advance, no matter where you're at, 1 year of one-on-ones. Okay? What gets scheduled gets done, and what gets revisited gets results. All right. So, how do you do the one-on-ones, and what does the action plan look like, and all the things? You guys want my framework? Because I got it for you. Okay. I've got something just for you guys. I'm going to give you guys my exact one-on-one framework, and it's the same system that we use inside of my own salon. You'll get my coaching prep form, my action plan template, and even how my team books their one-on-ones and their time spots, how they sign up. What does it look like? This is going to save you so much time and so much stress on keeping your team organized and keeping them on track all year long. All right. So you can click in the show notes below to grab it. Okay. While you're at it, go block off your 2026 times, all of your one-on-one dates on your calendar. All right. Accountability starts with your schedule, and it starts today. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: that true connection creates accountability. Don't wait for issues to blow up. Create a rhythm, consistent schedule every single month that builds trust and ownership every single month. Okay. True connection creates accountability, not a massive team meeting. So you might consider, if you're still doing team meetings, is that something you want to continue into the new year in 2026? Or are you going to focus on the one person in front of you and focus on one artist at a time and pour into them? Okay. Clarity and consistency will always outperform motivation. So the one thing that shifted, going from team meetings to one-on-ones. And I will take this to my grave, because that is how important it is. You guys have heard me talk about this over and over and over. And I swear by it. It's so important to meet with your team and to consistently meet with them, and not just like, oh, I guess we'll have a one-on-one and it's been like 4 months. Like, no, every single 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. every single 4 to 6 weeks. So go grab our framework if you want to see how we do it. It's in the show notes. You can go and see like how we set our smarter goals. You can get our coaching prep form because we actually have them fill out this form before they come to our one-on-ones. You guys can get our action plan template, so where you can just jot down the notes inside Canva. You can put your logo on there, your team photo, send it to them. So what we do is we just make like a template link. So inside Canva, you can make like copy the link or make a template link. I copy, paste it. Sometimes I airdrop it to my phone and then I text it to every single person after our meeting. And that's the 3 things they said they wanted to work on. And then when 4 weeks pass and you meet with them again, you pull up their action plan on your computer and you say, hey, how'd it go? Did you get 2 new extension guests this month? Did you do A, B, and C? That is holding them accountable. All right. So go grab our framework. Love for you to have it. My gift to you guys. I hope you guys love this episode. We're going to put in the show notes recommendations for podcast episodes. If you want us to chat about anything, if you want us to discuss a topic or something that you're struggling with, put it inside of that form. I'm giving you guys a form. Go jot it down, and that'll give us some ideas and some fresh content in the new year. I'd love to hear from you guys. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful week. We'll catch you guys same time, same place. Every single Monday, we release new episodes, 6 a.m., right here on the Level Up with Lacey podcast. So much love to you guys. We'll see you next time.